It's your boy Phlexer in the building today or whatnot. And so today we're gonna do something a little different. Well, I think I say it every time or whatnot, but I like to do different stuff on the channel. I don't like to just kind of repeat the same things as everybody else is doing and stuff like that. I mean, I understand people like to see upbeat reactions, but I want y'all to get some comments, some good reactions from me or whatnot on some stuff that I haven't seen. A lot of the videos that people be posting or whatnot, I watch a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a big Dante, Simba, Internet City guys, you know what I'm saying? I'm big fans of them, in the clutch, stuff like that or whatnot. So I watch them. Oh, Kid and C, you don't forget about them. I watch all these people or whatnot, and I see the videos they post, and I just be like, dang, like, I want to watch it on my own and record it, but I find it funner. Yeah, I said it, funner to watch it with them. And so that's why maybe why I started this. Because I wanted to make sure y'all had fun with me watching these videos when it's like this serious. So with that being said, so today I got this you already see the title of What Happened to the Artist of b.i.g Records and whatnot. I grew up a b.i.g fan. You are, if you know me or whatnot, man, I'm 34, okay? I can go ahead and get your dams out the way, all your oohs and bobs and this here or whatnot, but shit, they gotta start somewhere or whatnot. But this is giving y'all perspective of a person that's a little bit older or whatnot. And the Bad Boy clan or whatnot was actually one of my favorite like clans, you know, Puffy, Mase, the Locks, Biggie, Kim, you know what I'm saying? It's just, they was my crew or whatnot. I was a big East Coast guy growing up. Still, I'm more just everywhere nowadays or whatnot, but growing up, East Coast hip hop was my jam. But anyways, let's go ahead and get to this video or whatnot and see what old boy talking about. Link will be down, the original video will be down in the description, and let's get into it.
Already made a similar video about what happened to the members of Death Row Records, and it's time to find out what happened to the artists from Bad Boy Records. These stories are absolutely crazy. Someone threw a chair at p.diddy so they could leave, someone went to prison, and someone became religious. Anyway, there's a lot of interesting stuff to cover. Let's go.
Won't be around next year, my
It's sad because I think everything he just said, I think I know. Of course, we all know Mase turned to religion. Who threw a chair? Maybe Jada? Jada probably threw a chair at him. All right, let's just see what's up.
Craig Mack is the first superstar of Bad Boy Records, who, according to Puffy, created the first hit on the label called Flavor in Your Ear. However, not the track you just heard, but a remix of the song, which was released together with Rampage, LL Cool J, Busta Rhymes, and Biggie.
This man, I get more butt than ashtrays. The fair one, I get mine the fast way.
While Mack's career
Oh,
seemed to be on the rise, it went downhill pretty quickly. Some might even say that his career was cursed from the very beginning, the main reason being that Diddy discovered the notorious b.i.g, who would become one of the greatest rappers of all time, and
that's one thing I will say about Diddy. Diddy will latch on to who's making him money. If you're not making Diddy enough money or whatnot, then you will get bypassed. You will get looked over, and he will go ahead and move on to the next big artist. And once he found Biggie, there was nobody that was going to replace Biggie. Nobody.
push Craig Mack aside. Take a look at this video, which shows the absolute bewilderment of Craig Mack.
I'm sure you got much things in store for my man.
Yeah, definitely. We got a new album we're working on him to drop in January. Besides that, we about to just drop our R&B stuff.
The Puff Daddy album.
Yo, they had a good relationship until
they just hold him.
Craig Mack changed his manager. When Craig Mack changed his manager, Puff didn't like him for whatever reason he didn't. He told Craig, if you don't fire your manager, nigga, you can't work for Bad Boy.
To make things worse, Craig Mack's appearance became a problem. He was constantly the subject of ugly jokes in the hip-hop media, and it haunted him throughout his entire life. Later, we would find out that Biggie was not thrilled about collaborating with Mack.
Is Craig on the album?
Matt? Nah, fuck that though.
Ooh, I don't remember seeing that. But hey, this is the day before the internet. This is like back then. All we had was like Source Magazine, VHSs, and Smack DVDs.
I don't fuck with that.
You don't fuck with Craig. But I noticed, like, on the remix, Flavor in Your Ear, y'all worked
That
together.
was just something I had to do. You know what I'm saying? That's politics. Puff asked me to do it.
Although Biggie nor Craig Mack never publicly revealed the exact reasons they did not get along,
D-Town 94. I was a good depending on what time this was, I was good 6 or 7 years old. 9 times I was 6 because I was a little late. I was born in December.
there were many talks around the industry as to why that was the case. Craig Mack had a reputation for being a very outspoken, flamboyant cat back in the day. He was also known to be a tad stern whenever label CEO Sean Diddy Combs tried to persuade Mack to try certain styles of music tracks that would help elevate his career to the next level. Diddy and Mack had extensive discussions about the direction of his new project.
Even look at this picture right here. Yeah, it's supposed to be about, you know what I'm saying, at the Big Mac. We got Big Mac or whatnot. Come on now. But then you see who got his arm around, who he's facing towards, and who's looking down.
Following the hype of his Grammy-nominated Flavor in
We've all
Your
seen
Ear
pictures
single,
like that before.
but apparently Mack wasn't down with Diddy's ideas at that time. Biggie reportedly witnessed many of the issues Diddy was having with Mack, and over time he may have grown to dislike Mack's personality. Not sure if they clashed face to face, but based on the fact that Biggie had no problem publicly saying, "I don't fuck with Craig Mack," it's probably safe to assume the two MCs had some type of disagreements behind the scenes.
Yeah, probably so.
Mack released his second album in 1997 without Bad Boy, but none of these singles hit the charts, and Mack was unable to repeat his success.
Just gonna say, I don't even.
Rhyme flow to the break of dawn, exploring MCs I can still on. Like Paul's Dilly on. Yeah, don't forget.
It wasn't until 2002 that we saw Mack back with his Bad Boy fam, only to appear on one single, Diddy's hit song I Need a Girl Part 1. By 2006, Craig Mack released another single, Mack Tonight.
If you dare get him out, I'ma bomb that town. Got a problem, air it out, God. I'm here right now. Words will come play.
Following that release, it wasn't until a
Don't get it twisted. Craig Mack can flow. It's just the fact when Diddy blackballed somebody. You understand, at this time, the three most powerful niggas in hip hop was Master P, Russell Simmons, and Puff Daddy. Well, in like the early 2000s, Jay-Z started the rise. Well, Jay-Z rose over Russell Simmons, but at the time when Craig Mack's demise, it was Russ, Big, and Russ, Puffy, and Master P.
2012 YouTube video surfaced that fans ultimately learned where the brother had disappeared to.
My name is Craig Mack.
And what did you used to do when you was in the world?
Wickedness. and
Wicked.
rap-
Oh, okay. And what are you doing now?
Righteousness.
Whoa, hallelujah. Oh.
In that video, it became apparent that Mack had become deeply devoted to his Christian faith.
I didn't know that. When he said the whole religion thing, I thought he was talking about Mase, but okay.
As he testified to the preacher and congregation at Overcomer Ministry in Walterboro, South Carolina. While Craig Mack's faith appears to be sincere, the leader of the ministry, Brother R.J. Stair, was arrested on several charges, including touching young girls. Well, okay, that's not what we're here to talk about
Pause? The fuck? You just gonna drop that tidbit in there?
right now. In one of his last interviews, he told how he almost killed a man in 2011.
I had a gun in my lap. And I'm sitting there, I'm talking to God, I'm like, Lord, I don't want to do this.
But fortunately, he didn't do it. Mack's physical condition got worse and worse every year, and this led to his death. Craig Mack died on March 12, 2018 of heart failure at a hospital near his home in Walterboro, South Carolina.
R.I.P., my
According
guy.
to DJ Scratch, he was
I
ill
still
for
bump
some
Flavor
time
Ear.
before his death and was ready for an unpleasant outcome. Mack apparently suffered from heart failure. He developed shortness of breath about 6 months before his death, when, according to rapper Eric Sermon, he called his friends to say goodbye. P.Diddy thanked and paid tribute to Craig, even though he didn't attend his former colleague's funeral. Here's what DJ Scratch wrote about it. When I left Craig's memorial service, I called Diddy to thank him for giving Craig the platform for the world to know Craig Mack's music, Scratch wrote. I told him I just left the service. He said, "They buried Craig already. What service are you talking about?" He didn't know about the memorial service. Diddy offered to pay for Craig Mack's funeral, but the religious community Craig was in declined. None of his his friends or colleagues were allowed to attend his funeral. Diddy respected their wishes. Craig was immediately buried on the property where he lived.
I'm gonna say this. No matter, like, I understand, like, Puffy looks kind of bad right there or whatnot, because he kind of hold Craig Mack. But at the same time, at the end of the day, when the man passed away, this is just what was said right there or whatnot, that he tried to pay for the funeral, and that's right there, but they didn't want the money, they didn't even want him to show up, blah, 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 this here. At the end of the day, Puffy is a businessman. At the end of the day, Puffy is a businessman. I will say that to the end of the day. So he's gonna so when the person's alive, he's gonna choose business over relationships because that's Puffy or whatnot. Is it right? Eh. Is it wrong? Yeah. You can look at it on both sides. You can look at it and say, hey, he tried, they didn't want to. You can look at it and be like, but nigga, you hold him. He wouldn't probably even be in this position if you would have just kept pushing him. But at the same time, like I said earlier, Puffy will blackball somebody or whatnot, or say like, hey, I'm pushing you to the back burner, and that's just what it is. You getting pushed to the back. So I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that.
Who got the flame that comes to dime a dozen that keeps them buzzing, thinking that they fat when they bustin'? Welcome to the world of
Please be the man, wanna see you doing good.
I don't wanna get rich living in the hood. Hey.
After Biggie was killed, Mase was supposed to be the next big star. He dominated the charts from 96
hold on. Before we even start this right here or whatnot, just FYI, Mase was my favorite bad boy. Mase was my favorite bad boy.
to 99.
And Fabulous stole this flow. Fabulous is one of my favorite rappers too. But I think I like Fabulous because he reminded me of Mase.
But he shocked Diddy by saying that he was going to leave rap and become a pastor.
That's why I was talking about the religion
speculation
thing.
regarding Mase's sudden departure from Bad Boy stirred up a storm of controversy. How do you have a 19-year-old rapper named Mase who decides one day to wake up and say, you know what, I want to get out of this shit and be a minister, a former Combs disciple told to The Voice.
The real reason why I decided to start rapping, I just wanted to better my life. I wanted to do something better for my life. Not all the time, money is the best thing for your life.
In 1999, Mase, whose real name is...
Hence why I quit my job, and I am here now. I am all in. I quit my 9 to 5. I started hustling, started doing other things, and I am here now. So please support your boy. Watch out to go on his YouTube platform.
Mase and Betha quit Bad Boy Entertainment and announced the formation of Sane Ministries. The acronym stands for Saving a Nation Endangered. He called himself Minister Mase after a soul-stirring vision from God. Indeed, at the height of his popularity, owing to the success of his Harlem World album, Mase reportedly told one radio interviewer, Tupac, who was killed in Las Vegas in 1996, heard the call and he didn't heed the warning. Biggie heard it, he didn't heed it. I'm no fool. Some still have doubts as to why Mase left. Puffy does not let no people out of their contract so easily, claims a Bad Boy insider. He had Mase under contract for a long time.
Yeah,
you let somebody walk into your office and say, I don't want to be under contract no more, and you just say, okay, go ahead. I think Mase had something over him, some little secret that Puffy did not want to get out, and he used it as a bargaining chip to get out of that record deal. After 5 years, he returned to the music scene with the album Welcome Back.
And that song right there got so much buzz because we wanted Mase to succeed.
Under the Bad Boy Records label. But then he wanted to leave again, and even somehow broke into an interview with Puffy, where he asked to be released from the contract.
What you ever had something to talk about? You ain't had nothing to talk about right now.
Then he returned in 2016 during a Bad Boy Records tour, and then started dissing his former boss, and later went live on Instagram to explain why this happened.
Try to dangle money, they didn't think I ever leave. Niggas never pay the artists, but they love to pay the freaks. When I see
the hurt and the pains of other people on Bad Boy, that motivates me to say something so I don't be deemed as a person who just made a bunch of money and turned a blind eye. I'm not going to be like the rest of the people around Puff that don't tell him he's wrong. I'm not going to be like the yes men around him that see him ruining people's lives and never tell him he's wrong. More people on here will tell me I'm wrong, but won't say anything to him. They'll judge my beliefs, they'll judge my Christianity, and they'll say nothing to Puff.
Okay, you can't just switch artists like that or whatnot. So let me stop right there or whatnot. Let me talk about Mase real quick. So Mase was absolutely right about that, because that's the thing about Puffy. Puffy has such a hidden, I ain't gonna say hidden background, more or less like a mysterious background. Like it's so many things that we think Puffy done did, and it's all he say, she say. There's no physical proof. I think outside of, like, they were saying like Puffy was, I am not gonna say that, but I'm not gonna say that. Do your own research on that one. But yeah, Puffy wasn't the best person in the world. Isn't the best person in the world, but he's Puffy.
Shine probably had the hardest time ever with Bad Boy Records. At the end of December 1990,
you are supposed to be the reincarnation of Biggie. Yes, you're gonna have the hardest time.
Jennifer Lopez, Sean Combs, and Shine himself found themselves in a difficult situation after a party in New York, which turned into a shootout in a nightclub, as a result of which 3 people were seriously injured. There are 2 versions of what happened. The first is that while in the VIP section of the club, a group of men approached Diddy and mocked the CEO of Bad Boy, throwing a sack of cash at him. And the second is that when they were leaving, Combs accidentally pushed one of the club's visitors with a bottle of champagne, knocking the drink out of his hands. In any case, an argument ensued, and Shine pulled out a gun and fired into the air, causing everyone to leave the club and presumably injuring 3 people. Shine was acquitted of attempted murder, but convicted on charges of assault and possession of weapons, and received 10 years in prison.
That's just New York. New York don't play. You get caught with guns up there. That's why they so real about dumping them here, dumping them there, throwaways over here, wouldn't it? Because gun laws in New York, they don't play. I think it's mandatory, like 5 if you get caught with a gun. It might be just down here. I know down here in Texas or whatnot, if you're caught with, like, look, you can walk into a store and go buy a gun. Legally, go buy a gun. So for you to have illegal guns here in Texas, that's stupid. Just go get it registered.
Diddy was cleared of all charges, including attempting to bribe his driver to take responsibility for the illegal use of weapons. During his radio interview, Shine said that he had a gun with him because he had been shot at just a month prior to the incident. The rapper said that carrying a gun in the club saved his life, and that he did the right thing, and if he hadn't pulled out a gun, everything could have ended badly. However, the relationship with his producer was damaged.
There's no relationship there to have a beef, right?
Exactly, he doesn't exist to me, and
nothing that the man meant to do. He was acting in self-defense. He didn't deserve 10 years.
In the end, it was Shine who served nearly 9 years for assault, possession of a weapon, and reckless endangerment, and claiming Combs sold him to save himself. Nas even dedicated a line to this incident in the song Purple.
I don't like the way p.diddy did Shine with different lawyers.
Puffy changed his name from Daddy to Diddy, hoping to put the past behind him. The fact that Puffy ratted on Shine was confirmed by a former Bad Boy security guard, Gene Deal.
Those people were testifying, they were brought to Puff first, saying that what they saw against Shine, what they saw Shine do. The DA didn't even know those people existed.
In 2001, Shine was released from his contract with Bad Boy Records. In 2004, he put out a second release for Def Jam. This long play debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200, with 158,000 copies sold in the first week, making Shine the second rapper after Tupac, whose album debuted in the top 10 on the Billboard 200 while still being in prison.
$1,000 weed, masterpiece diamond face on your sleeve, helmet lane, waist petite, alright.
While incarcerated, Shine began studying Judaism with Rabbi.
I forgot about Jimmy Choo. Do niggas still rock that?
And legally changed his
ladies still rock that?
Name to Moses
I haven't
Michael
heard that in a
Levi
while.
Barrow. In 2009, Shine was released from jail and got deported to his native Belize. He formally converted to Orthodox Judaism in Jerusalem in 2010. Since then, Shine has mostly stayed away from the music industry. In 2020, Shine was elected as the leader of the opposition at the House of Representatives in Belize, after government officials attempted to approve an amendment that would prevent ex-convicts like him from running for office. Shine says Diddy lent him support. Diddy lost it when he heard that, he said. He got the revolt people involved, he got the publicists, he got his legislative friends. He said, we can't let this happen. Puff to me totally redeemed himself. And in 2021, Diddy helped Shine return to America.
Back in the town, back from exile. You know what I'm saying? It's only right. My brother did 13 years away from his family, away from the United States, and he's about to do something so amazing.
Shine was granted his visa to meet with U.S. senators and congressmen across the country to establish new relationships between Belize.
I'm at a point now, this was out of my blockers. I mean, I was like, here, that was way over, that's back there with the Hello Kitty.
And the U.S., with the help of Diddy lobbying for his return to America.
Oh, I'm in the middle of this. I just want to say something. I just thought about that. Come on. Full cam. Her name is Shelly. Just FYI. If you ever want to know who I'm talking about, I'm going to say Shelly. That's Shelly.
Shine was able to come back to the US. Shine currently serves as the leader of the opposition party of Belize, with hopes of following his father's footsteps and becoming prime minister.
Okay. Oh, Faith. Faith. Let me speak.
Faith Evans was a popular singer in the 90s and was also Biggie's wife. She was in Bad Boy from 1994 to 2004. After leaving, she created her own music label, Prolific Music Group, and hired specialists to create a label from scratch. After leaving Bad Boy, she released several albums that ranked high, such as 2005's The First Lady, which debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 chart. Her last album was released in 2014 under the name Incomparable. In 2017, she presented the album The King and I. This is supposedly a joint album with Biggie. There are only 25 songs in the duo's album, and it tells the story of the life Faith lived with Biggie.
That man just said there was only 25 songs. Niggas putting out albums nowadays with 11. I remember when the days niggas used to have like 17, 25 long track lists. Only 25 songs? What, you thought it was supposed to be a double disc or something? I think this is Chris Brown's album where he just dropped like 80 damn songs on one album.
Starting with her marriage just 9 days after meeting, and ending with his
People's music skilling nowadays is worse than anime power skilling.
Timely death in 1997. Most of Biggie's verses have already been heard, except for 2 that have never been released before. Lil' Kim, who also had a relationship with Biggie, also participated. The funny thing about all this is that Biggie married Evans when he was still dating Lil' Kim. What a love triangle on the album.
That's more or less
in addition to,
hey, the nigga dead. We gonna still beef with each other. He love both of us.
Music, the artist starred in films.
And is he gonna say the thing that Faith did?
As well as in various TV shows. Did she have boyfriends after Biggie? She did. First, she married Russell, and they have 2 children. In August 2010, Evans was arrested on suspicion of drunk driving after she was stopped at a checkpoint. Later in 2011, Evans filed for divorce with Russell. The couple agreed to spend 13 weeks in a drug treatment program in exchange for stopping further prosecution of their drug possession case. Evans received a 3-year suspended sentence. Then she married Stevie J. However, there was
I don't remember that at all.
also a shady story that she had to be arrested once for serious violence
I don't remember none of this.
against Stevie J. She was released on bail and the charges were later dropped. In 2021, Stevie J filed for divorce, and then a video was leaked where he accuses her of cheating.
So you happy about it? Huh? You are? That's what you like to do? How can you disrespect me, though? I ain't do nothing to you. All I did was love you. And you do that to me? How can you do that to me?
Also, many people speculated about what was going on with Pac and Faith Evans.
That's what I was
After
talking about.
all, in Hit 'Em Up, we heard the following lines.
You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife. We bust on bad boys, niggas fuck.
Faith, that was Pac's girl. That was not his girl, but that was, you know, that was him and her and Pac had something together. They was fuck buddies.
In a 2014 interview with Vlad TV, Faith Evans further expounded on the topic and admitted Tupac did ask her for sex when she went to the studio to record his 1996 All Eyes on Me single, Wonder Why They Call You Bitch. At the time, she claimed she didn't know Tupac was signed to Death Row, the label at the center of the Bad Boy Entertainment beef. Evans then went to Tupac's hotel to collect the $25,000 she was getting paid for the collaboration, and that's where she said the proposition took place.
In a very surprising and offensive way, for sure. But I mean, by that time, I think it was, it was pretty clear to me that was all kind of, it seemed to me that was kind of like a plan, you know?
Okay.
He's like, that bitch just left my hotel. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, fuck Faith. And I was like, oh.
Who to believe is completely up to you, but what do you guys think about this? And let's move on.
Had pretty chicks with all the right features and hood rat chicks.
What happened to Loon? I don't remember. This is so long ago. Oh, all that Faith Evans stuff I remember or whatnot. The Sean stuff I remember all the way up until until he got out and did the stuff overseas. And then Craig Mack, I think I knew everything about that. So let me see what happened with Loon.
Loon released his first album with Bad Boy Records in 2003.
Mario.
1 year later, he left the label and started his own company, Boss Up Entertainment. In 2008, after a trip to Abu Dhabi, Loon converted to Islam.
First post-Islam.
Why is it that these niggas always keep turning to religion when they fuck with Puffy?
Islamic conversion rap of Loon live here in Al Jazeera.
Like I said, I've veered away from that lifestyle for a second.
Despite trying to change his life, Loon ended up in prison. Some claim he was innocent. On November 22nd, 2011, Loon was arrested while traveling to Brussels. In May 2012, he was extradited to the United States, and in July 2013, he was sentenced to 14 years in prison for conspiring to sell 1 or more kilograms of heroin. Many reports defended and confirmed his innocence. On July 20, kilograms of heroin, sentenced to 14 years in prison for conspiring to sell 1 or more kilograms of heroin.
I ain't never heard
Many
of that.
reports defended and confirmed his innocence. On July 29, 2020, because of the effect that the COVID-19 pandemic had on prison centers, the former rapper was released prematurely.
Oh, that was it? Okay, I thought it was more than that. Because that nigga disappeared off the map.
The band Total, which was known for its choruses on Biggie's songs.
Now,
As the band did not live long, they released 2 albums. after which the group broke up, and even despite the breakup of the band, they continued to keep in touch. Everything returned to normal during the Bad Boy Family reunion tour, where we saw the classic three. Pamela Long said in an interview that she does not deny that one day we will hear the third album from Total.
Okay, before you even say anything about 112, I'm gonna tell you about this right here. Between Total, 112, and there's probably gonna be a couple of other, I don't know how many are. Wasn't 3LW Bad Boy? There was a period where, like, just like how it's the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and 98 Degrees and probably a whole bunch of other groups I'm not remembering right now. White people was doing that shit and black people was doing that shit. Everybody was making like R&B groups or pop groups or whatnot. There was and basically what they would do is it's like these people would start in these groups, but it was really like a lane to push one person. And in this instance, it was Slim.
112 made a name for themselves as one of the top male R&B groups of the 90s, but broke up following their 2005 album Pleasure and Pain, and each went to work on solo albums. The group eventually reunited.
Slim had an album that went hard. One of them had a religious album. I don't remember what happened to those.
And released their return album Q Mike Slim Darren in 2017. Unfortunately, the group disbanded once again shortly after.
Be parallel to what happened in 2006. Guys wanted to do their own thing.
Slim and Mike continued to perform under the 112 brand and released a new EP in 2020.
I didn't know that.
I bet the brick I can hit it. Black tire.
Now we on my boys. Now that whole 112 thing, I knew Slim dropped an album. I knew another one of the dudes wouldn't. I think it might have been Mike, or it might be another one of the other ones when I had dropped the religious album. And that was it. That's the only thing I remember or whatnot. The rest of that last two albums, I didn't remember none of that shit. Let's get to the locks.
I got a fresh pair of British iceberg.
Prior to being known as the Locks, the New York hip-hop group went by the Warlocks. Sheek Louch, Styles P, and Jadakiss endured a name change at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs when he inked a deal with them in 1995, and they were happy to adjust because it was during a time when Bad Boy Records was in its prime. However, years later, the members of the Locks were ready to leave Bad Boy because their more hardcore rap style did not fit well with the label's creative direction. They did everything possible to legally free themselves from the contract, but Jadakiss revealed what led to Diddy finally allowing the rappers to continue their careers without Bad Boy.
When Styles threw the chair at Puff.
I was almost there. I said I think it's Jadakiss, but it was Styles.
That was probably the last straw for that.
From 2000 on, the guys have released 3 albums, so let's listen to some songs.
Living off experience, I jammed that hoe. I jammed that hoe during COVID. These last 2 I don't remember.
Songs.
I do remember that song, never mind.
I push the Cadillac truck with my friends in the back. Free on these streets, the hammer gon' blow. The hood fucking with his butt. What else you need to know?
That sounds familiar too.
Money in the club, so I gave it to him. Homie wanted 50 from the plug, so I gave it to him. Get you where it fits you. Got 13 inches. I see the big picture. If it's to get
I'm gonna let this play.
You'll be shocked by this story.
Okay,
G-Dep has released only 2 albums in 6 years of collaboration with Bad Boy, and then he and Puffy went their own separate ways. After that, he became heavily addicted to drugs, as he told in 2008, and after his arrest, participated in the Narcotics Anonymous' 12-step program. And late at night on December 15th, 2010, G-Dep exited the subway station. He did not tell where he was going because he knew that they would try to stop him. The tragedy happened in 1993, when the guy was 18 years old. He decided to earn some extra money. He found his victim, approached him, pointed a gun at him, and asked, "Where's the money?" But the man did not answer. He asked again and again. There was no answer. As a result, G-Dep fired 3 shots. After that, his life changed and his mother said that he became a completely different person, quieter, and so on. Then he signed a contract with Bad Boy Records for $350,000, but by 2002 he was broke and moved to a neighborhood just a block away from the crime scene. Shortly after returning to East Harlem, G-Dep lost his grandmother and the Bad Boy deal. To cope with this, he started smoking even more. Between 2003 and 2007, he was arrested 17 times, mostly for drug possession, sometimes for trespassing, hanging out in a building that wasn't his, often to get high, and once for theft of services, slipping through the exit gate to steal a free ride on the subway. Between trips to Rikers, he tried to jumpstart his career without much success. How did this whole story end? He was sentenced to 15 years in prison.
Wow.
Why would he rat on himself? Because his conscience was tormenting him. When Diddy found out about all this, he called G-Dep's wife and gave her support.
I didn't know all that happened to G-Dep.
Biggie was the main star of Bad Boy Records and released many hits.
Everybody knows Biggie. All a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine. When you call me Big Papa, throw your hands in the air if you's a true.
The title of the album, Life After Death, turned out to be prophetic. Released 16 days after Wallace's death, the album continued the creative path started by the rapper. Wallace's creative Life After Death continued in the future. Unreleased recordings were put out in the format of 2 more albums, Born Again and Duets, the final chapter.
I remember Duets, the final chapter or whatnot, because that special game, talk good shit, rip it, but Bone Thugs and Harmony, that holding hard, and this right here, even dead wrong.
Marijuana smoke, throw you in a choke, gun smoke.
Somebody need to come back with that beat.
Gun smoke. Biggie smokes for mayor, the rap slayer. Killing is thrilling, all the blood spilling is all a part of drug dealing. A born gangster, my daddy was a thug.
But it
that beat right there, I tried my hardest freestyle to ever in my life.
Wasn't these albums that became the rapper's main posthumous legacy. The image of the notorious B.I.G. continued to live on as a role model for millions of those with a similar fate to Christopher Wallace, who began his journey from the very bottom with drugs and crime on the streets of Brooklyn. Many may think that his lyrics, often dark and crude, could not be a source of inspiration, but for some that's exactly what they were. The idea that even being from the poorest neighborhood, you can, with some effort, get off the streets and succeed.
Only make moves when your heart's in it, and live the phrase, sky's the limit. Motherfucker.
Should I make a video about what happened to the members of other labels? Let me know in the comments. I recommend you check out the next video about why Eazy-E wanted to kill Suge Knight. I'll see you guys later.
I probably would even know that or whatnot. Hold on, no, don't take it in a minute. But whatnot, that's another video. Anyways, that was fire and whatnot. There was a couple things there I just did not remember, did not know. And it was a couple things that was good to kind of like get the mind refreshed with or whatnot. Cause I was like, man, I don't remember a lot of that shit, but damn, that was a fire ass vid or whatnot, man. Like I said earlier in the video or whatnot, link in the original video be down in the description. Y'all wanna go check his channel out, make sure y'all keep him sub. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for your boy up over here or whatnot. It's your boy Phlexer.